How are Republicans different from Democrats? On Monday, on the floor, I overheard two Democrat senators discussing a bill. The first one said, "What's great is that this bill doesn't cost anything." The other Democrat responded, "Who cares?" I'd love to tell you her name, but my staff says I'm creating enough controversy as it is. Last month, we almost shut down government. We were this close. Now, you would suppose that with such fanfare and drama that some significant reform was enacted. You would be wrong. What started out as $100 billion became a prorated $61 billion and then was compromised down to $38 billion, and when eventually added up and cross-checked, became $300 million. So we thought we were cutting 1%, and in reality, we're really cutting 1/100th of 1%. In fact, the deficit for 2011 will be greater than 2010. We will spend more in 2011 than we did in 2010. In what parallel universe do we cut spending and actually spend more this year than last year? Some say they knew Republicans were not serious about limiting government when Republicans passed the largest entitlement program since the Great Society, Medicare Part D, the prescription drug plan, or when Republicans doubled the size of the Department of Education with No Child Left Behind. Perhaps we will look back on 2011 and say we knew Republicans were not serious when they voted against shutting down the Amtrak lines that lose twice as much as they bring in. If we can't cut a few $100 million from loser Amtrak lines, how will we ever cut the trillions necessary to balance our budget? That, in a nutshell, is the conundrum. 47 Republicans in the Senate have endorsed the balanced budget amendment, but many of those same senators will not vote to cut a few $100 million from small airport subsidies. Reagan said, "If not now, when?" Senator DeMint is leading the charge for meaningful reform attached to or in advance of a debt ceiling vote. I will join him in that fight. I tell folks in Kentucky that Washington is not spending your money wisely or accounting for it properly. $100 billion went unaccounted for last year. The Pentagon cannot even balance its books and claims to be too big to be audited. The audacity. The government is not to be trusted with more of your money, so I will refuse to allow them to borrow more. Now, is it a good idea to default? No, but we don't have to default. This is a false claim being promoted by big government advocates. We can simply spend what we take in. We bring in about $200 billion per month, and our interest payments are only about $20 billion per month. There is absolutely no reason we should ever default. The liberals want it to be an either-or question. Either you raise the debt ceiling or financial Armageddon occurs. If there is an in-between solution, such as paying the interest from tax revenue, they lose their leverage. I sense more Republican solidarity against raising the debt ceiling, but the real question is, how long will we hold to our position? Will we stand firm and demand that fiscal sanity is brought to bear? Some of us will. And more will if the voices of Americans are heard loud and clear in Washington in the coming week. It will help if you will let your voices be heard by those who might waver. Make your presence and your opinions heard, and maybe, just maybe, we can save ourselves from ourselves. Thank you.